the right to remain silent. Anything you say and can will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have them present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questionings if you wish. All right. You good, dude? Mm-hmm.
Won't be able to hear me while I'm muted. Good afternoon. Just a pop-up live. There's a news conference that's happening on Melodee Buzzard's mother, and I'm a little bit behind on it, but we're going to watch it together and see what's going on. Hey, Tracy.
Went into actually committing the crime. We have recovered a significant amount of evidence that clearly indicates that this heinous crime was committed by Ashlee Buzzard, Melodee's mother, and the very person upon who she relied upon and trusted the most in this world. From the moment this case was reported, our detectives pursued every lead with determination, with urgency, and with compassion. Our investigators and those of our allied agencies worked simultaneously on multiple fronts, some maintaining around-the-clock surveillance of Ashlee Buzzard, while others focused on the painstaking collection, analysis, and verification of physical, digital, and forensic evidence. That sustained effort was critical in bringing this case to where it stands today. Throughout this investigation, our detectives faced deliberate efforts to prevent them from finding Melodee and uncovering the truth. Despite those attempts, their focus never wavered. They remained disciplined, methodical, and relentless in their pursuit of the facts. Whenever obstacles were placed in their path.
Welcome to Houston Live and Local. I'm Delon Dillard. We have a few more warm days ahead of us before the cold temperature returns.
Where did they go? What has happened? They skipped it forward on me. Hold on, guys. Let me pull that back. It was just on. They must have taken it and switched it on the live. How was everybody's Christmas? What did everybody do for Christmas? Hey, guys. Try to find it. It was on, and then it was gone. They didn't like me showing up. Let me see if I can figure out where it went to. They probably put it out into a little individual thing. That's not very nice. I wonder if they took it down. You guys see it anywhere else? So glad you're here. You spent Christmas with your son's fiance spent Christmas with you. That's beautiful. Where did it go? I see the one from one day ago. I guess we can watch that while I'm trying to find the other one. But what I want to see is the one that they just did. But what I'll do is I'll put the one that was on yesterday, or the 2 days ago, rather, for information purposes while I find the new one. Hey, Iowa Backyard. How was your squirrels this Christmas? Thank everybody for coming in. Just bear with me.
Before we get underway, I just want to go over a couple of housekeeping things with you all. I do want to let you know that there are going to be two things that are going to be new on these slides here. One is a map, and the other one is an updated timeline. We will be sending that out after the press conference, so you'll have that information available for you. I also want to go over our list of speakers.
Okay, well, this is on in the background. So apparently the court appearance was scheduled for 9 a.m. today at Santa Maria Superior Court under Department 9. She's reported held without bail at the Northern Branch Jail in Santa Maria. Her charges at this point, excuse me, there we go. Yeah, they had a news conference on Wednesday, but then they had another one just a minute ago, and we started watching it, and it just disappeared on me. So I'm going to try to locate that one. But she's charged with first-degree murder, and they allege that they call it murder by lying in wait. It's like a special circumstance, and then they have a firearm enhancement for discharge causing death. So now we know at least that part. Reporting news outlets on the complaint also reference a special allegation like personal use of a 9mm pistol, and the child was particularly vulnerable. So the news outlets are reporting on that. They had a news conference. I said the 24th, I meant the 23rd. This news conference right here came out on the 23rd at 2 p.m. And the sheriff's office said it would not live stream, but would post the recording afterwards. And so a lot of the media outlets streamed it anyway. Her remains were located in rural Utah, and Ashlee Buzzard was arrested, who is her mother. The timeline says her body was discovered December the 6th near State Route 24 in Wayne County in Utah. The ATF were able to link cartridge evidence on December the 17th. And the FBI lab confirmed familial DNA match on December 22nd, with Melodee Buzzard's arrest being on December the 23rd. Haven't followed any of this? Okay, very good. You're looking at it? Did you find it? If you found it, Tracy, put it in chat and I will pull it up. I don't know why it pulled it up and then it disappeared on me. That or drop it into Discord, one of the two. Hi, Sweet Pea. The official said that the murder weapon had not been recovered and the motive was still not determined as of right this second, as of this briefing. But you haven't found it yet? Me either. I don't know what the heck. All right, well, let's turn this up a little.
This and verification of physical, digital, and forensic evidence. That sustained effort was critical in bringing this case to where it stands today. Throughout this investigation, our detectives faced deliberate efforts to prevent them from finding Melodee and uncovering the truth. Despite those attempts, their focus never wavered. They remained disciplined, methodical, and relentless in their pursuit of the facts. Whenever obstacles were placed in their path, they overcame them. When cooperation was withheld, they relied on the evidence. Their commitment did not falter, and their determination did not fade. They followed the facts wherever they led, and that ultimately is what brought clarity and resolution to this case. Now I'm going to go over a timeline of the major developments in this case. Before I do that, though, and before
he starts going through the timeline, Hannah, when I first came on, if you rewind back to the front, there was a live conference going on for after her arraignment, and it was on, and then it disappeared. So I'm not sure if they decided to take it down. So I'm actively looking for that in Houston. What happened to that live? Because it's gone. So I'm kind of watching the one that they did on the 23rd just to kind of go over the timeline. And then hopefully I'll be able to find that news conference. Yeah, I don't know where it was literally just on when I turned this on. So it's so weird. I don't know if they yanked it or what. We'll see what happens. Let's listen in on the details real quick.
Walk through it. I want to thank in particular, and we'll go into some further detail of our allied agencies that helped us, but two in particular that I want to recognize at the start of this, and that is the Federal Bureau of Investigation which has been with us throughout the investigation and has helped us not only in our regional area, but also out of state. And I particularly want to thank Sheriff Micah Gully and the members of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office in Wayne County, Utah, and every other agency that assisted us with their partnership, their professionalism, and for their commitment to this case. This level of coordination among jurisdictions was essential. It was superb, and we are grateful for the support provided at every stage. While this remains an active criminal case and certain details are still being investigated and cannot be disclosed at this time, I can share with you now a timeline outlining the major investigative milestones. October 14th, 2005, a school administrator reported Melodee's prolonged absence from school. Deputies responded to the family's residence in Lompoc, where her mother, Ashlee Buzzard, was contacted. Melodee was not at the residence, and Ashlee provided no verifiable explanation for Melodee's whereabouts. October 15th, 2025, detectives served a search warrant at the Buzzard residence in the 500 block of Mars Avenue in the Lompoc area, looking for evidence pertaining to Melodee's whereabouts. Subsequent to the search warrant, it was determined that Ashlee had recently rented a car, and video surveillance images were obtained showing Ashlee and Melodee at the rental car office, both of them wearing wigs in an apparent attempt to conceal their identity. These images were shared with the public on October the 22nd in an attempt to obtain additional information about their whereabouts. On October 24th, 2025, detectives shared an updated timeline and travel route with the public of Melodee's last known movements along a multi-state round-trip travel route that included California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, and Nebraska.
It's a lot of area to cover. Poor little thing. Yeah, they're saying that she is being held without bail this time. When I say this time, I guess we all kind of got an idea of what happened last time. But yeah, she's been charged with her murder, obviously. The little girl was 9 years old, Mama Bear, and she basically has been saying all this time that she's missing, but she didn't want to tell anybody where she was or what was going on with her, and went missing. And it looks like the way they have it, February 10th, 2016, and they have it listed right here is October 9th, 2025. I'm guessing that they believe that that's the date of death. It's just sad. It's just sad. So they're saying that the murder weapon has not been recovered yet. The motive has not been determined yet as of the time of the briefings. They're also saying that investigators described steps taken during the trip to avoid detection, like the wigs and the disguises, and they changed the license plates out on the car. They said that her remains were discovered on December the 6th on State Route 24 in Wayne County, still in Utah, that the ATF had to compare the cartridge, I don't know from where to who yet. We haven't heard yet, or I haven't heard yet, basically. But they were able to determine the ballistics by December 17th. And then the FBI lab confirmed the familial DNA match on December 22nd, which led to her arrest and the first conference on December 23rd. She kept driving to find an inconspicuous place to kill her to try to hide her disgusting crime. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's disgusting. I take it she isn't being extradited to Utah while being in California. I'm not 100% certain. I don't know that they've said yet. That's why I was hoping to hear that second conference, because I know that she was supposed to be, allegedly she was arraigned this morning at 9 a.m. Court appearance, the arraignment was at 9 a.m. in Santa Maria Superior Court. So they say she's being held without bail. Let's see. Let's check this over here. I know that I know everybody when you came, like the first person that came in saw that they were doing a live conference. I'm really upset. So they made it says the missing 9-year-old Vanderburg Village girl. Her mother was arrested on December 23rd. Prosecutors wasted no time formally filing first-degree murder charges. DNA was confirmed just before 8 a.m. the next day. Deputies arrested 40-year-old Ashlee Buzzard at her home at 500 block of Mars Avenue. So she was arrested at home. Thank you so much. It's been a year, Jenny. Oh my gosh! In the morning, are you serious? Oh, we love you too, Jenny. Thank you so much for being a member for a whole year. I can't do it without you over here. You're my day one. Just like, hi, Scratch. So nice to see you. I think California is claiming it was premeditated, which was planned in California. The crime occurred in Utah, though. Correct. Yeah, I'm guessing. I was watching it and then boom, gone. Boom, gone. All right, let's see. 2.5-month case animated angered the Lompoc County with the public. Okay. And what I want to know is what happened this morning. That's what I want to know. All right, let's watch a little bit more of this while I continue to dive through here and figure out where this conference went.
With a return route including Kansas, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, and then back to California. Detectives learned that along this trip, Ashlee switched the license plates on the vehicle she had rented to a New York plate and found out that she would back her vehicle into gas stations in an apparent attempt to avoid detection by their surveillance cameras. Melodee was last seen on video surveillance with Ashlee on the Colorado side of the Colorado-Utah border on Thursday, October 9th, 2025. And detectives now believe that Melodee was murdered shortly after that stop. On October the 30th, sheriff's detectives, along with the FBI evidence response team, responded and served follow-up search warrants at the home of Ashlee Buzzard, as well as for a storage locker that she had rented and upon the car that she had recently rented as well. During the search of the Mars Avenue residence, an expended cartridge case was recovered. During the search of the vehicle, a live round of similar ammunition was located. Detectives submitted the expended cartridge case to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
Okay, so there's the answer to my question on how they linked the ballistics. So they found a live round and they linked it to the body afterwards. Okay, that makes sense now.
For inclusion in their national database called NIBIN, the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. December the 6th, 2025, members of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office in Utah responded to a call from a man and a woman who were taking photos just off the 3300 block of East State Route 24 in a remote part of Wayne County, Utah. This couple had discovered the decomposed body of a deceased person off of the side adjacent to West Caneville Road. On December 8th, 2025, a member of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office notified the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office of the discovery of the unidentified found body. Although immediate identification of the deceased person was not possible, it was apparent that the decedent was a female who had died from gunshot wounds to the head. December 17th, 2025, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives examination of cartridge cases found at the Utah crime scene resulted in a NIBIN hit, linking them to the single cartridge case that was found at the Buzzard residence. On December 22nd, yesterday, the FBI crime lab notified our agency that DNA analysis had determined that the remains found in Utah were a familial DNA match to Ashlee Buzzard. Today, December 23rd, 2025, members of the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office and the FBI served search and arrest warrants at the Mars Avenue residence.
So I'm going to pause just for just a second. So when I came on, the original plan was to talk about what was happening live. There was a news conference that was playing after her, obviously after her arraignment. Her arraignment was 9 a.m. this morning in Santa Maria Superior Court. I'm in Texas. So she's being held without bail, reportedly, at the Northern Branch Jail in Santa Monica. So what I saw was a press conference going on. So if you go back to the very first part of the live, there I play a little bit of the press conference. I play a little bit of the press conference that started at the beginning of the video. My husband's playing a game in the background and screaming. It's hilarious. So the news conference was on when I came on, and I had paused it long enough to start the live, and then they hid it from me. So she's been charged with first-degree murder. They allege that she has a murder by lying in wait. That's a special circumstance, and a firearm enhancement for discharge causing death. Reporting the complaint also references special allegations like personal use of a 9mm pistol and that the child was particularly vulnerable. I haven't seen it. What are you guys playing? What are you playing? Dark Tide. What are you playing? Dark Tide, Warhammer? Yeah, they're playing Warhammer, Maria. Oh, she might most definitely do that. Yeah. It doesn't. They always okay. So generally, they plead guilty until it's bound over by to a different judge. So I'm going to say that she pled not guilty. We'd be hearing a whole different story otherwise. But like I said, I don't know why I started the news conference and then it went off. So hopefully they'll put it back up. Hopefully we'll be able to hear something on that. So Tuesday, December 23rd at 2 p.m. they did this live stream right here that we're watching. They didn't want to live stream it. Some of the media outlets streamed it, but the sheriff's office did not do it directly. So they are kind of keeping it hush hush. And I'm not saying hush hush about live streaming. I'm saying just about some of the details of the case. And that's probably because it was there's a lot of coverage on it. And I don't think they want to mess this one up for sure. It says that they may have unlisted it after the live and maybe they'll put it back up, or they may be having some processing delays, or the news streamed it and they pulled the copyright, but I don't see the sheriff's office doing that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. They may upload it again. Yeah, if it's premeditated, you think the insanity table should be off the table. Sorry. No, and I can't either, love. It's okay. When I first started, it was there. So I don't know what happened to it, but like I said, maybe they'll put it back up. I just caught the tail end of it. I should have just hit live and play when I did. It was already, it was literally probably 25 or 30-minute conference that we missed. If anybody sees it on YouTube, that anybody streamed it live, let me know. But yeah, I'm looking in the background as we go through it and I'm not seeing anything. News Nation just reporting that she was supposed to be, let's see, they said she was arraigned. Let's see if News Nation talks about the arraignment. Let me play this while we're waiting.
And arrested Ashlee Lynn Buzzard for the murder of Melodee Buzzard. Ashlee was taken into custody without incident, and she was booked at the Northern Branch Jail for first-degree murder, where she is currently being held without bail. While these developments represent important steps towards holding Ashlee Buzzard accountable for the murder of her daughter, they do not diminish the profound loss that we are acknowledging today. Because this case is now moving through the court system, there are limits on what additional detail we can share publicly at this time. At this point, I'm going to ask Lieutenant Chris Gottschall to recognize the personnel and agencies whose work in our region was instrumental in this investigation.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good afternoon. This case required an extraordinary level of coordination and commitment amongst all agencies. I want to specifically recognize the detectives who tirelessly worked from the very beginning, including lead detective Joe Oliver, Detective Ruben Esparza, Detective Matt Maxwell, Detective Cliff Kabasig, Detective Thomas Brownlee, and Sergeant Jeff McDonald, along with numerous investigators, sheriff's deputies, professional staff, and support personnel who contributed countless hours to this effort. I'd also like to acknowledge our allied agencies whose cooperation and assistance were essential to advancing this investigation across multiple jurisdictions. A special thanks to our Santa Maria resident agency of the FBI, Supervisory Senior Resident Agent Mike Rusev, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the California Department of Justice, the Santa Barbara County District Attorney's Office, Santa Barbara County Child Welfare Services, the Lompoc Unified School District, and Santa Barbara County Search and Rescue. At this time, I would like to invite Special Agent in Charge Patrick Grandy, executive from the FBI Los Angeles Field Office, to speak about the FBI's key role in supporting this investigation. Thank you, Sheriff.
Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Grandy. I'm a special agent in charge with the FBI's Los Angeles Field Office. Various FBI field offices in multiple states devoted resources to this investigation. And I
Okay, before we go much further, I just want to go over here. It's not showing anything. It's not showing anything. It's not you guys. Let's share this tab instead for a few minutes. So this comes from the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. This is what they put out on the 23rd. And this just shows basically that they announced that the remains for Melodee, the 9-year-old that was reported missing, had been located, and they confirmed that it was her, and that Ashlee Buzzard had been arrested for her murder. But basically all of this right here just shows the timeline of the investigative milestone. So on October the 14th, a school administrator said that she had been gone from school for a long time. So they went to the house, they contacted the mother, and Ashlee provided no explanation for where Melodee was. Basically, the long and short of it is she said she's not here, but I don't know where she is. So they served a search warrant the next day on the house, and they saw that she had recently rented a vehicle. It says surveillance images showed her and Melodee at a rental office wearing wigs, apparently to conceal their identities. God knows why. I mean, it's not like we're not going to recognize that this is a small child with a wig, which I think everybody did when we saw the pictures. The images were released to the public on October the 22nd. I think many outlets and many creators have gone over that the day of that release. You have a cool new blanket you got for Christmas. I will definitely check that. I like that they're acknowledging all the agencies that helped. Yeah, I think they've been doing that quite a bit lately in some of the news conferences I'm seeing. And I like that because it gives us an insight to who kind of started out, where the investigation went. It gives us a little more insight to that, because a lot of times they get accused of not doing anything, right? And okay, so let's see. Detectives released the detailed travel timeline, saying they did a multi-state round-trip travel route, including California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, and Nebraska, with a return route including Kansas, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, and California. Investigators learned Ashlee Buzzard switched license plates and backed into gas stations so that she could avoid the surveillance cameras. Does that sound like insanity to anybody? No, it does not. Melodee, it sounds premeditated, calculated, and definitely not insanity, in my opinion. Investigators now believe Melodee was murdered shortly after that point. They said at the Colorado-Utah border when they saw the last video of her on October the 9th. It's crazy. It's crazy. So she was last seen on video with Ashlee October the 9th near the Colorado-Utah border, and the murder shortly happened after that. October the 30th, sheriff detectives and FBI evidence response teams served additional search warrants to the residence at a storage unit and the rental vehicle. They found the cartridge case that was recovered from the residence and a live round with similar ammunition that was located in the vehicle. The cartridge case was submitted to, we heard that, and entered into the ballistic database, and the related evidence obviously agreed with the evidence with the body. You're at work, but you're listening? Thank you, Indie Girl. Definitely. I agree with that. Tracy, I hear you. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Tracy. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not sure why they took down the conference. Maybe they'll put that back up later. I'm a little disappointed about it, but at the same time, I understand to protect the integrity of the case. Maybe they did not want that live stream. Thank you very much, Tracy. I'm pulling it up now. December the 6th, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office in Utah responded to report a decomposed body discovered off the roadway near the 3300 block of East State Route 24 in a remote area of Wayne County. December the 8th, the authorities notified the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office of the unidentified remains. So it took 2 days, and then they notified them the decedent was determined to be female and had died from gunshot wounds to the head. Oh my God, today. December the 17th, the cartridge cases, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. Cartridge cases recovered in Utah were compared by the ATFE and determined to be linked to the cartridge cases recovered from the residence. FBI Crime Lab analysis confirmed that the remains discovered in Utah had familial DNA matched to Ashlee Buzzard. She was arrested for the murder of her daughter on December the 23rd. We'll go back and finish that news conference here in just a moment. Tracy just sent me this. Ashlee Buzzard pleads not guilty to murder of daughter. DA's office won't seek the death penalty. Okay. Ashlee Buzzard has pleaded not guilty to the October murder of her daughter, Melodee Buzzard, in Utah. The plea in denial of special allegations of discharge of a firearm causing death and murder by lying in wait were entered during Buzzard's arraignment before Santa Barbara County Superior Court Judge John McGregor in a Santa Maria courtroom Friday morning. So yeah, there's the special I'm dumbfounded. What? We're going to seek the death penalty. No. She had special circumstances. Lying in wait. Lying in wait. No work here in the UK except vital workers. It's Boxing Day. Oh, okay, good. You can send it to me whenever you want to, Hannah. I'll be glad to look at it. Mother Flower. She's pissing me off. Many of Melodee's family members were in attendance, and several pink bows were shared in her memory by people watching the court's Zoom feed. Okay, Zoom feed. Court's Zoom feed. So there's a Zoom feed somewhere. I know there's a feed for this somewhere. Probably won't be available to the public, won't be available to us. I don't know. I'll look around. I will do some digging on this one. Thank you very much, Hannah. I appreciate that. In court, the prosecutor announced the Santa Barbara County District Attorney's Office would not be seeking the death penalty against Buzzard, 40 years old, but would be seeking life in prison without the possibility of parole. Dressed in a top and pants and not jail attire, there she is there in a flowery top with her curly hair and her lawyer. Buzzard waived her right to a preliminary hearing within 10 days, replying, "Yes, Your Honor," to the judge when asked if she understood her preliminary hearing now must take place by February 24th, 2026. Judge calm my ass down. Judge McGregor also approved a temporary gag order. There it is right there. Damn it. That's why. I bet that's why they took it down. Temporary gag order request by the defense that prohibits Santa Barbara County Sheriff Bill Brown and his employees from speaking on the case and releasing evidence and documents related to it that are not already public. So that's probably why that got taken down. The motion is expected to be heard in Lompoc on January the 7th. So that's, oh, wait. Let me go back and read that properly. No, it approved the gag order, so it wasn't a motion. It was approved. They'll have another hearing on January the 7th. Buzzard was arrested Tuesday, December 23rd, and charged the following day with first-degree murder in connection with the shooting death of her daughter. The criminal complaint alleges the crime involved great violence, great bodily harm, threat of bodily harm, or other acts disclosing a high degree of cruelty, viciousness, or callousness, and that Melodee was particularly vulnerable. It also states the crime was carried out with planning, sophistication, or professionalism. The defendant took advantage of a position of trust or confidence to commit the offense, the criminal complaint states. Buzzard's arrest came more than 2 months after a multi-state investigation into the disappearance of her daughter was launched. The search for Melodee began back on October the 14th when school administrators in Lompoc noticed the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office of Melodee's, or notified, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office of Melodee's prolonged absence. The Sheriff's Office said Buzzard was uncooperative with the investigation and was not providing information to authorities about her daughter's whereabouts. Sheriff Brown on Tuesday said Buzzard's demeanor had not changed following her arrest. Because she simply doesn't give a damn. She simply doesn't give a shit. At least one search warrant was served before the FBI began assisting with the I was thinking careless. Oh. Right? Don't put the gag order in there, damn it. Yeah, that's why. So they had it up and it was like, ooh, gag order, take that shit down quick. I wish I had been recording on time. There was like 20 minutes of it and I rolled it back, started the live, started to play it, and then the news cut in. Like they cut it as soon as I started playing it. Pisses me off. During a press conference on Tuesday, Santa Barbara County Sheriff Bill, At least one search warrant was served before the FBI began assisting with the case less than a week later. During a press conference on Tuesday, Santa Barbara County Sheriff Bill Brown said investigators believe Buzzard killed Melodee on October the 9th, shortly after she was last seen with her mother at a stop on the Colorado side of the Colorado-Utah border during a multi-day road trip. The sheriff's office says Buzzard returned home on October 10th alone from that trip, which extended as far as Nebraska. Authorities say they determined the mother and daughter wore wigs and the license plate on the car rented by Buzzard was changed at least once during the trip. Melodee's body was discovered in Wayne County, Utah on December 6th by 2 people in the area taking photos, but her remains were not positively identified as familial match to Ashlee until December 22nd. We've heard that before, familial match, which means one of 2 things. I'm not sure, 100% sure, because I can't say, but obviously they didn't take DNA directly from Ashlee. They got it from somewhere or something. And I think the last time I heard about it being publicly mentioned like this kind of was in the Brian Koberger case, but they've used it a lot in other cases. Thank you, Tracy. It's out. It's got to be out here somewhere. Yeah, we'll find it. If it's out here, we'll find it. I had hoped she hid Melodee with friends or family in Utah, but the worst of the worst happened instead. I agree, Mama Bear. It's sad. You're not asking dumb questions. There's no dumb questions, and you are most certainly not annoying. How do people learn without asking questions, silly? We're not investigators or lawyers or anything else sitting in this chat. We're doing what everybody else is doing, learning from the news and trying to make the best out of a bad situation together. So, Sheriff Brown called the killing ruthless and heartless, adding it was calculated, cold-blooded, and criminally sophisticated premeditation. He said Melodee died from multiple Not one, but multiple gunshot wounds to the head. You are a vile bitch. She was a child. Adding that the cartridge cases found at the crime scene in Utah were positively linked to an expended cartridge case that was found at Buzzard's Mars Avenue home during one of the searches, and also a live round of similar ammunition located inside her rental car. Flowers, candles, stuffed animals have been placed outside the Vandenberg Village home following the mother's arrest. Earlier this week, Sheriff Brown said the firearm used in the killing had not been recovered and a motive had not been determined. Buzzard is being held in the Northern Branch jail in Santa Maria without bail. You're a bitch. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, we better watch this conference before it disappears off here too. Go back to that.
I can confidently speak on behalf of all FBI employees when I say that our collective hearts are broken as a result of this senseless outcome. The agents in our Santa Maria office, just north of here, worked tirelessly for the past couple of months with the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office, and this has no doubt affected them as well personally. We were all hoping to find Melodee alive, as you undoubtedly were as well. That said, the FBI will continue to provide resources to the County of Santa Barbara as they pursue justice for Melodee, whether that be laboratory services, running down leads in other states, or other investigative assets. As I mentioned, this investigation spanned multiple states. FBI field offices in Denver, Kansas City, Las Vegas, Omaha, Salt Lake City, San Diego, and San Francisco, as well as numerous other local partners provided resources. In particular, as the sheriff mentioned, the Wayne County Sheriff's Department in Utah and their medical examiner for their dedication to Melodee's remains once they were found. Thank you in advance for bearing with me, as I would like to recognize the following agencies that also played a significant role in this investigation. As the sheriff mentioned, it was quite extensive. From the state of Colorado, the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, Colorado Department of Transportation, Colorado State Police, Fremont County Sheriff's Office, Grand Junction, Colorado Police Department, Gunnison Police Department, Gunnison Sheriff's Office, Salida Police Department. From the state of Nebraska, the Nebraska State Police. From the state of Utah, the Paiute County Sheriff's Office, St. George Police Department, the Utah State Bureau of Investigation.
Mama Bear, thank you so much for the heart and the 199 sticker. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. That's amazing support. Thank you very much.
And the Utah Department of Public Safety. Lastly, I'd like to recognize the media for reporting on this story continuously, and for members of the public who called in tips. We continue to urge anyone with information about Melodee's murder to contact law enforcement. Thank you, and I'll turn it back over to the sheriff.
Okay, so before the sheriff starts talking, so the court order is limiting what the case insiders can say publicly so that the case is not tried in the media, basically, right? So in Ashlee Buzzard's case, the judge is approving a temporary gag order requested by the defense that bars Santa Barbara County Sheriff Bill Brown and sheriff's employees from speaking on the case and bars them from releasing evidence or documents that are not public already. So it's temporary right now. The motion is expected to be heard on January the 7th. Hopefully we'll be able to see that. But they do have a gag order in place, which is why the, hey, nice to see you. Welcome in, everybody. which is why when we first started, the press conference was up and then the press conference was deleted from the public. So there's no more detailed press briefings right now from SBSO about any evidence, any theories, any statements, any forensics, anything. So no new documents will come out, and but it does not gag the public or the media from talking about the case. And it doesn't automatically seal all of the court records. The court filings can still be public unless they're sealed by a separate order. And it doesn't stop you guys or any of the, people out there from reporting on the facts that we've already seen or that are already in public. So if you find documents on it that are already out, you can report on them. So it's just to reduce prejudicial publicity. And I can see why, because this bitch is crazy. You don't just shoot one of your children in the head. And so, yeah, there's that.
Thank you. Let me just conclude by saying these remarks. The circumstances of Melodee Buzzard's murder are heartbreaking. All of us who have been involved in this case have been deeply affected by it. We were hoping against hope that she would be safely found. This outcome is deeply tragic, and on behalf of the entire Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, I want to extend our deepest condolences to those who knew and loved Melodee. I want to take a moment to speak directly to the Meza and Buzzard families who have endured unimaginable pain throughout this ordeal. Their strength, their patience, and their steadfast hope have been evident from the very beginning. No family should ever have to experience this kind of loss, and our hearts are with them today and will be with them in the difficult days ahead. We stand with them and we remain committed to securing justice for Melodee. I also want to thank the members of the media, both you here in our region and those out of state, for your continued coverage, including the conveyance of Melodee's image and the circumstances of her disappearance all across America. Your involvement played a meaningful role in advancing this investigation. To the members of our community who followed this case closely, thank you for your engagement, for your support, and for your willingness to come forward with information. The loss of a child is among the most profound tragedies any community can endure, and that loss is exacerbated when it is at the hand of someone else, and particularly at the hand of the one who should have loved them the most. Today, we stand together in grief, but also with resolve. Melodee deserved a far better life than she had. We will honor her memory by ensuring that every step of this process is handled with care, compassion, and a steadfast commitment to justice. Our investigation does not end here. We will continue working closely with prosecutors and ensure that the judicial process moves forward with integrity. May God bless the innocent soul of Melodee Buzzard, who we will never, ever forget. Thank you, and I'll now turn it back over to our PIO, Raquel.
We have allotted some time if anybody has any follow-up questions. Again, reinforcing the fact that we do have an ongoing investigation, and while we're trying to balance transparency with seeking justice for Melodee, so we do have an opportunity to take just a few questions. Yes, Crystal.
Yeah, Raquel, I'm just curious, do we believe at this moment that Ashlee acted alone? Or is there any potential leads that other suspects may be involved?
So the question is, do we believe that Ashlee acted alone in this homicide? I'll turn it over to Lieutenant Gottschall. Please step to the podium.
Thank you for your question. Our investigation thus far has revealed that at this time, we don't believe that anyone else was involved.
Right here, yes.
Raquel, the sheriff mentioned the retrieval of cartridges
Yes.
and the live rounds. Is the murder weapon in evidence?
So the question is about the location of the murder weapon, if we have that in our evidence or in our possession at this time. I'll turn that over to Sheriff Brown.
Thank you. Yeah, the short answer is no. We do not have the murder weapon yet, but we continue to seek it.
I'll come back to you for your follow-up question in just a moment. Go ahead, yes?
Will this case be tried in Santa Barbara County or elsewhere?
Okay, so the question is where this trial will take place. I believe Sheriff Brown will have a response for that.
Yes, the plan is that this trial will take place here, since the intent was believed to have been formed here in our county prior to going on this road trip and committing the actual crime.
So we're gonna have room for just a couple more questions. I'll volley back here. Yes.
And for any of you, I know early in the investigation, investigators had been out in those various areas along the road trip. Had that area in Wayne County been searched at all?
So the question is if investigators on their initial routes had been through that area of Wayne County. I believe you're asking if we specifically probably been to the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
I'm going to refer to Lieutenant Gottschall for that.
Thank you for your question. We've been following a ton of leads, looking at a lot of different data and information. It is an expansive area of the United States that we were researching, and unfortunately, we didn't have specific location information until recently.
Yes.
When can we expect a mugshot of Ashlee to be released?
I'll have you email me privately on that. We'll proceed with that. We'll take one final question here, and then that'll be a wrap for us. Yes.
Is there a motive that you can share with us at all?
The question is to a motive. If we have one established, I'll have Sheriff Brown cover.
We have not established a motive at this point. We have obviously established that it is what's known as a filicide, the slaying of a child, in this case, a maternal filicide. And there's been a lot of study and a lot of discussion about that and what motivates people to do that. But as far as an actual direct motive, we haven't established that yet.
A very quick follow-up. I know that Ashlee, you had described her as uncooperative throughout the investigation. Can you describe her demeanor now? Has she spoken or confessed in any way? Can you talk about her demeanor now?
Yeah, I can tell you that as of this morning, no, there was no change in her attitude and her demeanor.
So uncooperative.
Uncooperative.
Thank you all very much for coming out and for being patient with us through this process, not just today, but throughout the entirety of the investigation. And
Okay, so I'm going to bring this up. Somebody in the chat addressed the mental health of the mother, and this is what I found from November the 7th when they talked about it, was that her mother had said that she had had some issues with being bipolar. And this is at this time, she had been missing for a month and said that she was last seen along the Utah-Colorado border. So in November 7th, they already knew about that last sighting right there. Of course, we know about it. We've seen it on the news, right? She was reportedly uncooperative then. She's still uncooperative now. Her mother, Lori Miranda, said Ashlee is bipolar and has been evaluated for her mental state from a young age. I know my daughter needs to be in a hospital, Lori said. According to a Santa Maria Times article from 1995, when Ashlee was 9 years old, Melodee's age now, she and her mother were homeless and hiding from her physically, verbally, and mentally abusive father. They spent their nights switching hotels and visiting family. Lori said that there's a lot more going on than the media is portraying, and that her daughter's bipolar diagnosis causes her to make up stories. Anna Emerson from the Criminally Obsessed podcast said she sees parallel of crisis, escape, and hiding between mother and daughter. We know from the article she has said she was under an enormous amount of stress as a 9-year-old, Emerson said, and now we know the 9-year-old Melodee, her daughter, is missing. There are parallels that cannot be coincidence. Emerson added that she shared the newspaper article with the FBI, who were unaware of it. She hopes they investigate it further and continue to examine the case herself. Melodee was last seen in the region between the Utah-Colorado border on October the 9th. So they knew about it then. Bipolar is not insanity. I agree with you. It is not insanity. And it is not a fucking excuse to shoot your daughter in the back of her head. I'm trying not to judge, but I haven't killed any of my children, so I'm going to judge that. Her mother should have stepped in. If she knew that she was having issues like that, somebody damn well should have. How are we allowed to procreate when we know we have so many issues like that? I shouldn't say that. It's not right to say that, but CPS should have stepped in sooner. They already have one of her children. They should have taken both. It's sad so many children get missed. Yeah, they fall through the cracks. Then get the children professional help. Agreed. Hannah, my best friend is bipolar and she would never do anything like this. There's so many people that are bipolar in the world nowadays or labeled as bipolar. I agree with that. You were wrongly diagnosed as bipolar before you got your actual diagnosis. It was too precise to be insanity. I agree with that. Okay, guys. To Melodee's family, and I don't know if anybody will ever hear this or not. I don't have any words. As a mother who has buried two of her own children, I don't have any words that can carry what this kind of loss weighs on a family. Losing a child is not the worst day. It's the day that splits your life into before and after. So nothing fits the same afterwards. And I remember those days. I remember how the puzzle pieces went together perfectly in my life before I lost my children, and how after that, nothing ever fit the same way again. And 20 some odd years later, it still doesn't at times, especially like Christmas. I'm thinking about the empty seat at the table, the silence where her voice is supposed to be, and the routines that, are landmines now, even in life, all these years later. And I can't imagine. I hope that their family and loved ones are surrounded by people who can sit in grief with them and without just trying to fix everything. You just kind of have to sit there sometimes. And I hope that the system, the judges, the lawyers, I hope everybody moves with urgency and care that this little girl deserved from the very start. And to the community around this little girl, when a child is taken, it doesn't stay just inside of the one household. It's radiating outwards. It hits her classmates. It hits the neighbors. It hits the teachers, the people that worked with her family, her coworkers, of her mother, the people who served her food at a restaurant and saw this bright-eyed little girl, this beautiful girl with the beautiful eyes, the people who waved at her on just normal days, her teachers who saw her going down the hall. It hits every parent who tucks their kids in at night and feels that extra squeeze in their chest when they look at their babies. It really does. I love your face too. I love all of your faces. I'm a little sappy, so you just have to bear with me. It's the reminder that none of us want what innocence is often, very often, interrupted. And some families are forced to carry that when they shouldn't. And if you've been following the case, then I'm sure that you guys feel heavy about the situation as well. And it's not being dramatic. It's your brain and your heart recognizing that something is deeply, deeply wrong. Deeply wrong. So now, for the person that's accused of doing this, if the allegations, which I believe they are true, in my opinion, and allegedly at this point, you didn't just commit a crime. I think you did something that a lot of us perceive as unthinkable. We don't wrap our brain around it. It is shocking, to say the least. If you took someone's child and you shattered an entire circle of people who loved her, not just your own child, you took a community's child, a family's child. They trusted you. She trusted you. To wake up to reality that you created now. Whatever story you tell yourself, whatever excuse that you're rehearsing and that you will continue to rehearse and have rehearsed in the past, none of it makes you bigger It makes you small. It makes you the kind of person that the world has to build laws around, because decency alone wasn't enough to stop you. Just wasn't. And here's what I'll say. Melodee is not just going to be a headline. She's not a clip. She's not content for all of us, but she is a kid with a name and a place in the world where she cannot be replaced, much like many, many other children. So I want to keep that centered and keep it factual as I can around the case. I want to let the courts do their job, but I don't want to pretend like it's not happening. Guardians, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for being here, for caring, for holding space for this little girl, and for the truth, always for the true crime out here, without turning everything into a spectacle, because we don't do that here. But if you're feeling overwhelmed, step away. Make sure you hydrate, drink your water, breathe, check on your people, love your kids. New Year's is coming up. 2026, here we come. Here we come, 2026. Here we come. Until then, I will see you guys tonight at 7:30 Central. Rest your heart where you can, okay? Thank you for hanging with me.